Welcome back to Wildsunne Art Studio. My name is Robinsunne, and here we are on day 2 of Valentine extravaganza here in the studio. Because, heaven forbid, there should not be some handmade Valentines this year. Please like my video, comment, subscribe, share this video with anybody who might also have a Valentine who might need some extra information. Today, please, I have 3 projects. When I started designing this, I had, I don't know, like 30 different ideas. And some of them I could let go of, but some of them I couldn't. So, today, we are going to be decorating a clipboard. And I put this on day 2 because I was thinking that we have a lot to get done, and you might want to have a place to put your papers, to put your to-do list for Valentine's Day. This one's actually a little bendy. That's interesting. So this one is Masonite, I think, and it's very smooth on this side, so it's good writing surface. And I decided not to put my decorations here. The other side is, can you see? Yeah, there we go. It's very textured. And it's also kind of rough to my fingers. And I personally was thinking this would be a good side to decorate. So, gloves off, because we're going to be playing with gel medium. All right. I pre-planned this because I thought that would be a good idea. So this is a grocery bag that I ripped and then crumpled. What I'm going to do is cover the surface with gel medium and then squish this in. And then I'm going to make a paper cut. Of course, I'm going to make a paper cut. And then I'm going to put a golden heart that has a red echo on top of the paper cut, one by one. So if I tore the paper bag in the right shape, I'm going to do all the cutting and then I'll do the gluing, so we can do that. And then I folded this paper sort of as the outside dimension. It's not really going to be a very straight cut. But it doesn't matter because I'm going to wiggle cut the outside. So I am pretty sure that I've done this. I know that I have done this with you before. We are going to do a rectangular, or actually maybe an oval. No, rectangular makes more sense on a clipboard. Going to do a rectangular cut on this, which is a little bit different folding protocol. So what we want to do is fold in half. Like I said, my corners are not matching. I knew that was going to happen. And then we're going to fold. Ooh, I have my distance glasses on as opposed to my art glasses. Alrighty. Then we want the fold to go out into the outside corner. So if we just folded that, and that triangle looks like how we do a regular paper cut, concentric paper cut. But then that leaves this amount sort of flying in the wind. So what we're going to do is mark it with a fold. Now, this is way too thick to make a good fold with. We're folding too many papers at once. So let's refold that, matching fold marks. And then, see how we have these 3 straight folds in the middle? We're going to fold it in half, and then we're going to fold this one back down on its fold, flip it over, fold this one back down, and really press those creases so that we have nice sharp creases, and the paper will lie as flat as it possibly can to make the cutting easier. And then we already know that we're folding, because we've got a fold mark there, so we already know that fold goes there. And we're now getting into quite a bit of paper. And then I'll fold it in half. And then this side I'm going to fold to the back. So the deal is, unless you're using a lovely thin paper like origami or even tissue paper, it is really hard to cut through. You can't even see them, but that, remember, we folded the bottom piece up, so this whole lower 2/3 of the paper cut has many layers of paper. It's really thick, and it makes it a little difficult to cut elegant, really lacy cuts, but that's okay. Now, this top, again, it's really hard to keep that neat and even when you started out with a square piece of paper, which I didn't. So let's see if we can just cut everything in the same general direction, and that will help us. What do we want to do here? Oh, you know what? Let's just do scallops. Let's not make that a straight cut. We're getting into the very thick place. Now I'm going to make this half of a cut because it's on a fold, so it'll end up being the whole width. Oh, I just thought of something the other day. Oh, that's squared. Rats. Didn't Charlie Brown say that? Charlie Brown or Linus? One of them used to always say rats. Oh, that's not quite perfect, but that's pretty good. So I brought over a bunch of my punches the other day. Can you see that? This punches a star. This one punches a flower. This one's fun. It punches a square. And then I've got a circle and a teardrop. Maybe the teardrop, actually, I think you've seen before. But you know what? To my liking, it is upside down. So let's not use that one. Let's try using the flower. If we can, it sort of depends how good the punch is. Let's take this. Isn't it cute? All right. That's in pretty good shape. Oh, wow, it's in very good shape. That's cool. I'm going to put this one, hopefully get half. Pretty close. So I'm only doing half the papers at a time here. Sort of making this up as I go along. So you might have some punches at home, maybe a circle, a little tiny circle. Now there's another straight piece. Phooey. There. All right, everybody, go back home. Okay. See? That's going to be cute. All righty. Let's do some cuts. Let's try this. 1, 2, 1. So far, I'm in the part of the paper cut that has fewer folds of paper, and it's already kind of hard. I mean, difficult, you know. Oh no, I was in the multi-folded place. Well, that's good. So, can you see right there? There's a little bit of, I don't know if you're getting any shadow. The fold mark. So that's, so below there is the many papers, and above there is fewer papers. And this cut goes right through it. So it will be interesting to see how this little tidbit comes across the folding line. All right, that's the little bit. Okay. Well, it's not entirely graceful, but we'll take it. Fun. This side actually looks like a neater fold side. I'm going to do a kind of a more mandala. You know, that almond shape. Mandorla. Mandala is a circle. Mandorla is like an almond or an oval shape. Those are both Sanskrit words. So now we know how to speak Sanskrit. Okay, 2 words, but still. Well, I think that's about as fine as I am going to get this cutting on this paper. And some of it's going to be covered up by that heart. So I know who's getting this too. But I'm not going to tell you. So that everybody's presents are a surprise. Remember yesterday I talked about making sure that at least one of these projects gets to stay with us. That we won't give it all away because we love ourselves too. That goes against every fiber of my upbringing, and I totally get if it goes against every fiber of your upbringing too. We live in a world that has many amazing, true things going on at the same time. Look at that. I think that worked out really nicely. Boy, I didn't have a lot of hope for this when I was cutting it. I thought it looked pretty silly. All right, I think I'm going to cover up the buttons with the paper when I put the brown, or most of it anyway. And then I will lay in the white paper cut. And how do I want this to go? I want that to go like that. So this is pretty easy. I made the heart by folding it in half. So out of a piece of plain white paper. So you can take anything and make yourself a heart that's nice and symmetrical. Which is nice, having a symmetrical heart, you know. All right, cut it. Yesterday's video was so long, I had no idea it was 50 minutes. But we might end up doing that a bunch in the next couple of weeks. On our 16 days of Valentine art. Alrighty. So that will go there. But yes, I thought this might work kind of like that. That it a little bit the edges aren't quite as clear. So I think if I put this on red, that'll help. So this golden paper is wrapping paper that I bought at, well, it's called Rennie's here in Maine. It's kind of an odd job lot kind of a store. Except it's Maine-based, and we love it and feel very proud of our lovely Maine store. Not that I had anything to do with it, I'm just proud of it anyway. Because we're all from Maine. Hey, I haven't checked recently. I hope that a couple of videos ago, we got to talking about what our state motto is, or our country motto, or provincial motto, wherever you live. Government organized plots of land often have a motto. So the one for Maine is Dirigo, which means I lead. And it has something to do, I thought it was who saw the sun first, but it's not. Oh my heavens, I wrote this down. Anyway. See, don't you see that much better? Yeah, we'll have to go back to that other video and find out why we called it that. Oh, it was because the voting used to be in Maine in September rather than November. So politicians for federal voting kind of got a guess as to how the world was going because they could look at what was going on in Maine and said, oh, this is, yeah. Anyway, Dirigo. I really like that. Now, I have a very old bucket of gel medium. It is clear that I need to go out and get some more. A whole lot of it is dry. It's very sad. It's not taking very good care of it. Look, I got it all over everything. Reaching for my Kleenex so that I can keep my hands relatively unsticky. I should use more. Someday I'm going to be one of those people who knows how to edit my own videos. And when I am that person, I will be able to stop and go wash my hands and come back and make a project and have it, you know, partially done and then come back when something dries. Or yes, I understand how this could be important. It's just I don't know how to do that yet. Actually, maybe I should go all the way out to the edge because, oh, I was going to do this on something that could get, oh well, I won't do the part that's right off the table. I was going to do this on a blue board, but I don't have one within reach. Oops. All right, I'll do the bottom later. I think this is kind of working like I hoped it would, where I'm brushing out the wrinkles as I go. Yes, I have two more things to show you, and I'm going to have sticky fingers to do it. Keeping you in the picture. This is kind of buckling up here. Oh, it's going to wrinkle. Okay, you can do that. These are these great Crayola brushes, and you can really beat on them, and they can take it. They can take it. All right, now I want this to be very well covered because the next layer is our paper cut. I think I've got that pretty centered. Okay. I'm just doing this really lightly One of the advantages of using, this is just office paper, this white paper, is that it is an essence unto itself. It's pretty sturdy. Now when this dries in a couple of days, and I'm going to let it dry for a really long time, just to make sure it's really steady. Oh, I wanted to say, different people have different opinions on this. I decided to use, I was looking all over for my jar of gel medium, which I'm using. I found it. And I almost gave up and used Mod Podge, but I think that Mod Podge is a little sticky and potentially not as water resistant as gel medium. Gel medium is honest and truly, it's water-based, but it's really plastic. So I just think it has a little bit harder dried finish. Well, actually, I was thinking I wasn't going to gel medium over the top of this, but I think I will. So I'm lining up the center point with that mandorla and the tip with this. It's kind of wrecking the shine right now, but I think this is a gloss medium. And I think when it dries, it will have maintain some of the shine of the... Ooh, I hope this is not going to be too wrinkly. All right. We'll see. I will show you in a couple of days when this has had a lot of time to dry, how this has worked out. And now I can do the end down here that was leaning against the table. I am sort of in the picture. As I was thinking of sort of designing this in my head, I had an idea that I could use lots of really fun, like ivory colored laces and really play a lot. And then I thought, well, if you're writing on a table with this, it would like bump back and forth, and that would be intensely annoying. All right, my brush goes in the water, and our lovely clipboard will go somewhere. All right, are you ready for part 2? I was thinking about our clipboard and what would one put on a clipboard, and I thought it's always nice to make your own background paper. Yesterday, I used on one of my little cards, I used some scrapbook paper, that had kind of fake handwritten or I bet this is real paper, but it's been all photoshopped down and stuff. And I thought, well, sometimes it would be nice to have total control over what the words were on your artwork and what the energy that one is invoking. And we want to potentially, making Valentines, invoke a particular kind of energy. So my paper says love and friendship. I just opened Word and I wrote love and friendship, and then I just kept copying it. So I'd copy a couple, get a couple lines, and then I'd recopy the couple lines and do a bunch of lines, and then I'd recopy a page at a time, a half page at a time. So this is American typewriter. This is a 10-point, and I think gives, from a distance, it gives a pretty nice pattern. This one is Apple Chancery, also at 10-point. And this one is Arial Rounded. It's a little, when I did it and it wasn't bold, the paper looked wrong. Wrong to me. That it might be a more airy look, and you might like that. To me, I liked it in a little bit bolder font. So we get to, you can, here, let's take, so you could make a heart out of love and friendship paper. Isn't that cute? You could also, here, let's put that on the red. You could also, do you know that thing about tearing? That the part of the paper you tear towards you has the top surface, you bring the top surface with you. And if you tear away, let's see, if I tear forward in this way, well, this is the different grain of the paper, but this comes out sort of white. So let's try doing that again. See how you get a little white edge there. So if you're going to ink that, that gives you a nice little space to edge. So if I pull forward, I'm leaving a white edge on the paper. If I pull this side forward, so this is pulling this forward first, and I get that top surface, so the typing goes all the way to the edge. But if I pull the other side forward, then I get this little white line. Isn't that cool? Totally amazing. I'm actually not liking that big white. So we could less cluttered looking. You could cut out a love and friendship, or whichever words you like, heart, and put it on paper, and echo cut it. Or we could tear it and then put a little heart, and we could use our lace on this, because this doesn't matter if it gets kind of lumpy. So yeah, can really play and have a lot of fun, and we have total control over the energy of the words that are on our paper. So I thought you might like to do that. And it's just, you just make a document on whichever writing program you have and save it, because you can use it whenever you want to say I love you to your people. And I love you would be a very good thing to say. So that's project 2, which is sort of related to a clipboard. And the other thing that's sort of office-y related that I thought we might have a bunch of fun with is DIY stickers. This is my light box. Ta-da! Sorry, I really hope that didn't end up blinding you. Sorry, I wasn't thinking. We have here, so this is how I do it. I get a piece of paper and I have one of these fun quilting rulers, and you can measure exactly a 1/2 inch all the way around the paper, which is wonderful because our printers usually don't print that. They actually, that little white thing around when you print is a little bit less than this, but if you measure a 1/2 inch in on all sides, then you get you make sure that everything you're drawing and working hard on will be printed. So that's great. And then I cut out some hearts and just traced them. Now this is the bottom layer. This is not what I'm going to print. And the reason why is that you get little bumpy marks, and it's lovely to have these lines here. So you can either take some washi tape and so this would be making little circles, and inside we could put a little heart. Actually, let's do that. There, that fits. So what we're doing here is kind of making, we are making a coloring page. And the reason we're making a coloring page is, yes, we might have a lot of fun. We totally will have a lot of fun coloring this in and making little designs in the hearts and the circles, and that'll be fun. But also, my kids, when they were in school, and when they were in outside school, they went to a Waldorf school. And, you know, the classrooms will have everybody make Valentines for the kids in class. And it was kind of mandatory at our school, which was fine for me because I love this stuff. But sometimes it's hard to do something a little different, especially my kids were in 1st and 2nd and 3rd grade, and there was a little bit of a limit, and my kids were pretty adept because they're my kids, of course. But still, it was hard every year to come up with something that wasn't just a heart on a little piece of paper that says Happy Valentine's Day on it. So, and they didn't want us bringing a lot of sugar, so it was very challenging to come up with more ideas. But that, of course, is absolute candy for me. So visual candy. So I'm giving you this in the next 16 days. I'm giving you a couple of ideas which might be great for your kids. And this is one of them. You could, if your kids are really young, you might do the setup of the page for them, let them color them. But then what you do at the end is you print them out on label paper. I like this clear label paper, but you can also do it on white. So this comes as a full sheet. And this is specific to an inkjet printer. If you don't have a printer at home that does this, or you don't have these labels or whatever the sitch, you can also take these papers down to like a Staples kind of a place. So this is the back paper, but this is the front. It's just plain clear. Oh, wait. It has yeah, this is clear. You can see my thumb. Okay. So I proved myself. Yeah, so what we're doing here is making a drawing paper. Now, there are a couple ways to do this. You could set up this drawing paper for your kids. Draw this all out. Give them circles. Tell them if they're writing already, they could write Johnny here and Jimmy here and Susan and Sarah, and we can play with that. And they can use their wonderful writing skills and make a little heart sticker for each kid in the class. So that's one thing you could do. You could also once we've got this paper made, you could print out just on copy paper all the little designs that you and your kids have figured out. And, so maybe in the middle of here, you could draw a little flower. And in the middle of here, you could make a little square for somebody's name, or, we can play. If your kid's into trucks, if your kid's into trains or dolls or trees or rivers or mountains or whatever. Yeah, so you can fill up this paper, copy just the paper, and give it to each, maybe roll it up and put a little red bow on it, and give it to each one of the children and say, you print this out. If you want, they can copy the colored paper at the end, or you can tell them that they can take it down to Staples or wherever, some copy shop, and have them color it on sticker paper, and then they would have a full sheet of their own Valentine stickers. So let me show you what I like to do. This goes like this. Okay. So there, I hope that's not totally weirding things out. So I make a page like this, and I fill all these shapes. You can do squares and rectangles, diamonds, hearts, circles. You can draw pictures of trees and gems and sandwiches and anything you want, So the first stage is just to get your shapes up. So there we've got shapes that we can color. And I usually put one piece of tape at least on two corners. Ooh, we have this upside down. I started doing this before and I got a little garbled. I'm actually feeling a little garbled right now. Sorry, there's an awful lot of steps to this. But the important part is to make yourself a cheat sheet. And if you don't have a light box, and I only got my light box a couple of years ago, so if you don't have a light box, you can always put these up against a window or a door that has a big window in it. And during the daytime, it's a perfect light box. You see every bit of this. So once you've got all your different lines, these are just space bars, these little skinny ones. So we could draw sorry, I was drawing. I can't talk and draw. You can draw little shapes. I pre-drew some of these circles just because, yeah, it's really hard to draw a circle and not get it lopsided. So you can just trace it. And I still didn't follow my lines. That's okay. It'll be really sweet. So you can have, once you've made the base page, you can maybe copy it if you've got a couple of kids. And you can have them trace your shapes. And again, they can trace it in black and white. You can copy it and just give copies, to all. See, this is what happens when I talk. To all the kids in the class. Or you can have your child trace these with like crayons or markers or something. And then, I mean, this paper, this copy stuff is a little expensive. It's like, I don't know, 10 or 15 bucks or something no, maybe it's 15 to 20 bucks. And this is for 10 sheets. Yeah, it's a little expensive. So if there are 20 kids in your class, that's a thing to think about. Or maybe you could do half sheets. And then you'd only have to copy 10 in order to get 20 half sheets of stickers for these kids, or even quarter sheets. All of this works because they get a bunch of stickers out of this cool project. So if your child traces this with colors, you could even, once you trace it out, once you copy it on a piece of paper, you can cut out individual stickers and just make a little Valentine and have your child put one sticker in their Valentine that they made for their classmates. So you can do this in a lot of ways. One sticker per kid, or 2 or 3 little stickers per kid, or a whole sheet of coloring paper in black and white, and then give a little sheet of instruction about how parents can go copy, once their kid has colored it in, they can go copy it at Staples. I think I've said all this 4 times. I hadn't really thought out the sequence. So depending how old your kids are, they can do the drawing, you can do the underlayer of drawing, and they can trace it. Or, if your kids are really little, if they're in kindergarten or first grade and they really don't have these skills, you can do that for them. Got it. So if we turn off the light, you see now it's all very clean. And this page is the one that you, once it's filled, is the one you would copy for them. I wonder who gets this Valentine. I'll have to think about that. So, I wish for you. Did you know that trees have a language? Trees are really magical. I wish you the hearing and understanding of magical languages all around us, the trees and the earth and the sky. I wish that you hear voices of love, not in a crazy way, in a perfectly sane way. The way that trees communicate, by the way, is a lot through smell. Isn't that wild? Trees can smell. They can give off scents if there's trouble or danger. They also, that's through their leaves and their branches, and then through their roots, they release various kinds of nutrients and chemicals to each other so they can nurture other trees when they're not doing well. It's fascinating. There's a whole book on this. Yeah, so this is what I wish for you, the thrill of understanding other beings, even if it's just our family. I wish you the understanding of other people's languages. And with that, I offer that you could come back tomorrow and I will have more Valentine art for you and for me. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye.